Okay, hello everybody. So I recently bought a collection of Wyze cameras, both used for the inside and the outside, although these are mainly for indoor use. And they work really well. I'm very pleased with them. I have really all the house inside and outside video monitored. But will these work if you have a emergency situation, a power outage or an internet outage or both? Can you still use them? Will you get live streaming video if you want to survey around your house from inside? And can you check motion, the SD card that I've installed in them, and check any motion detections? So let's find out. Alright, now this is my combination router and modem that I got from Comcast or Xfinity. So I can't guarantee whatever you see in the video will work for you, but this is a pretty standard router modem combination. So, you know, whatever works for me, there's still a very good chance it could work for you, but no guarantees. You'd have to test it yourself. Alright, so this is what it looks like when you hit the Wyze button when you have your internet and Wi-Fi. Alright, so you get access to everything. You can open something up and take a look. And that gives you a current live stream view, and of course you have access to any recorded motion or movements or anything. Alright, and here's what it looks like when you open Alfred Camera when you've got internet and Wi-Fi working. So it goes to any phones that you have working. You can tap on it, take a look at a live stream. So that's what you'll see. Okay, so there's my modem and router working normally. So what will happen when I disconnect the internet but keep the power on, which you can definitely do with devices, power devices to keep it going. So I don't think we're going to get access to the apps, and I don't think you're going to be able to access it even though the Wi-Fi will still technically be on. But we'll check it in just to see, and we'll also see if the Wyze cameras will still record any motion onto the SD card that you can access later when you have internet, or you could of course take the SD card out and check it manually. That certainly is possible. So let's disconnect the internet cable and let's see what happens. Okay, so the internet cable is disconnected. There it is right now. It's what the screen's showing. Not seeing a major difference, but the internet is definitely disconnected. So let's take a look and see what the Wyze and Alfred apps look like now, if we can access them at all, which I doubt. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the Wyze app, see what happens. Well, it's still showing your choices. Let's see if we can get a live stream. So we'll do kitchen window. Now I'm getting a live stream from the kitchen window. So this is really surprising because I disconnected the internet. So the apparently the Wi-Fi is still functioning and the app is still working, which is a huge surprise because this is working. So I'm really shocked at this. Okay, let's now take a look at the Alfred camera and see if we can get access to it. Alright, so it does take me to the site. See if I can get a live feed. Now sometimes it does that, you gotta just go back and do it again. So let's try that again. So not getting anything. Yeah, no internet connection, it says. Let's go back to Wyze and see if Wyze works without the internet connection. Alfred definitely doesn't. So we go to Wyze. Alright, we'll try let's try a different camera. Do the front door cam. So this is a live feed. Now so I've got a live feed without internet connection and it's working. So I'm really surprised at this. This is not what I expected at all. I thought it would have to go through the internet to connect to the app, but apparently with just Wi-Fi working, at least with the router that I have, that is doing the job, at least right now. So I'm very surprised at this. Okay, so we have the internet cable disconnected from the router and modem. It's 9:17, so I'm just going to do something to get some motion in front of one of the cameras, and we'll see if we can retrieve any motion. The live feed was working just fine though. So let's take a look and see what happens. Okay, so this is where recorded. I just saw it, so I had my arm hanging out the window. You got to be real tedious with this, because if you overdo it, you'll go right past it. So there we go. Okay, so there I am waving. So that just happened. So I'm able to access the SD card with no internet on. So this is really surprising on how this is working. So I'm really surprised. This is really good news. Okay, so this is interesting. You can see one of my camera, my front door camera, says offline, but watch what happens. It comes on, you got the live stream, and I also checked the SD card I can access. I can still access the SD card, micro SD card, and look at any motion sensor recording. So even though when it says offline, and I got a message a couple times that said internet is offline, I still have access to the cameras, and I still have access to the SD cards to check for motion detection recordings. So this is working beautifully. Very happy. Okay, so the next obvious question is, well, how much power do you need to run your router Wi-Fi, router and modem? This is what this is. So it is now unplugged from the outlet, and it is now plugged into this Jackery, a portable power device, and this tells you how much power it's actually using. So it's taking 20 watts. There's 21. So it's using, that'd be 21 watts an hour. All right. So this is 260 watt hours. About, actually, really not quite that much. So if it's 20 watts an hour, this would give you about 10 hours of power to your router and modem, you know, but this can be recharged, of course. So about 20 watts of power. It's going between 18 and 20. It probably depends on what's going on. Let's check and just make sure that our devices are working off of this. Okay, now the next obvious question is, how much power do you need to run a Wyze camera? So now I have it plugged into the Jackery, and as you can probably see, it's running at 8 watts pretty consistently. Once it got started up, it took a couple minutes to get going. So that's a little higher than I expected. So what if I plug it into a USB outlet? Will that save power? So let's try that. Okay, a huge difference just running off of 1 watt of power. So 1 watt, that's nothing. That can last, you know, a long time. So that begs the question, what about a portable USB charger, you know, a small little handheld one or a little solar one? Will it run off of that? So let's try that next. Alright, we have it plugged into this little solar charger, solar power pack, and it is running. Alright, it is showing a live stream, and it is working. So how long will this work? Depends on how many watt hours this little solar charger has. So whatever one you would use, you just have to look and see how many watt hours it would have, because it should be running at about 1 watt per hour. So that's pretty good results. So if you have a lot of little chargers, you actually could have surveillance during a internet outage and a power outage by powering your modem and router and powering individual cameras that you want. So you could have live surveillance of the outside, and you could also check for motion detection during a power outage and an internet outage, as long as you can power your devices. That's pretty impressive, and that's actually very useful for any kind of emergency preparedness, whether short-term, you know, hurricanes, or long-term, where the grid were to go down. So very impressive. So I'm very happy with this Wyze camera system. This is definitely useful not only during normal times as a surveillance security system, but also emergency preparedness. I'm very happy. Alright, so hopefully you found this helpful. If you want to support the channel, there are some Amazon links in the description box below, so anything you click on or end up buying that would support the channel, get a very small piece of that, but that's helpful. So we'll see you later.